Hey, what is happening, everybody out there? This is Jakejames Lugo, senior editor here at thecoalition.com, and I got another unboxing and impressions video for you guys. This one's going to be a little bit different, something a little bit special, something a little bit out of the ordinary. We've unboxed tech, we've unboxed collector's editions of games, but now for the first time here on the website, or at least in more recent memory, we're going to unbox something that's a little bit kind of outside the realm of gaming, but still related to it in some fashion. We're actually going to take a look at the Final Fantasy trading card game. We're going to take a look at some of the new packs, some of the new expansions or starter sets, as you put it. But here's what I got in front of me. We got a whole bunch of stuff that this was actually sent to me from Square Enix themselves, so I have to give a big shout out to them. They sent me not only 3 starter decks, including stuff that's themed that's brand new for Final Fantasy Type 0, Final Fantasy IX, and then of course everybody's big kind of, much anticipated Final Fantasy VII, or in this case, as you guys could probably see from the artwork here really quickly, Final Fantasy VII Remake. But in addition to that, we also got a bunch of booster packs from some of the different collections or the different editions that are related to the trading card game. We got Opus 1, which features Lightning for Final Fantasy XIII here on the actual booster pack. This Opus 1 edition has a whole bunch of different cards. Again, they got 78 common cards, 60 rare, 34 hero, and 14 legend cards, which are the different rarities of the different cards that are included in the set. But that's Opus 1. Opus 2 features my boy Squall Leonhardt from Final Fantasy VIII. Again, has 60 common, 42 rare, 32 hero, and 14 legend. And within all the different sets, there's about 148 premium cards, which are kind of like, special versions of the cards themselves. I'm guessing holographic or whatnot, but we're going to find out very soon. And then finally, featuring Sephiroth, everybody's favorite bad guy from Final Fantasy VII. This is Opus 3, which is, again, very similar. 60 common, 42 rare, 32 hero, 14 legend, and again, 154 premium cards. So there's a little bit more than the previous ones. I want to just double check that. Yeah, there's a little bit more than the previous expansions, with the exception of Opus 1 having 216. That's probably got the most. But here we go. We're going to start unboxing all of these. So to kind of kick things off, let's start off with the most kind of like the oldest version here, because I know Final Fantasy Type 0 is the newest one that they have right now, and then we'll save Final Fantasy VII Remake for the end. Let's start off with everybody's favorite Final Fantasy IX classic PlayStation 1 game, but we're going to check out this set right here. So I'm going to kind of be on camera a little bit. Number one, also, have to give a big shout out to FedEx for handling the boxes so well. As you guys can see here, a little bit of creases and stuff. I know it's a little out of focus, but FedEx, come on, son. You gotta handle my packages a little bit better. Let me actually move some of these out the way. We're going to get to those boosters after we check out all 3 different starter sets. Now, I'm not familiar with how the game is played as far as the Final Fantasy trading card game itself, but over time I'm probably going to be doing another video or two checking out the card game itself, maybe getting my boy Juan or Makai in here to actually check it out with me. But here we go, we're opening up the starter set. Now, according to the back of the box, which I'll detail in just a second, there's a mat, or at least, a rule set that comes with the actual starter set, and about 60 cards, I want to say, at least when I was checking out one of the boxes now. It's a little bit tough with the tape on here. But this is the English version of the trading card game, the English edition, because there is a Japanese edition, which I'm pretty sure some of you fans out there are very, very familiar with already. But we're going to take a look at the English edition of the card game because we actually live here in the United States, so it'd make more sense to do so. But here we go. We got rule set, which is right here, which I'm going to open up in just a second. We got the mat, which is very similar. Like if you play games like Yu-Gi-Oh!, if you play Magic the Gathering, you're going to find something like this as well. And then obviously, we have the cards themselves, which we got our boy Zidane, or Zidane, whichever you pronounce it, right here front and center. Look at him. Look at him in his PlayStation 1 glory right there. Look at those polygons. That's vintage PlayStation right there, which we'll open up in just a second. But again, to go back to the back of the box here, what they said, it has a pre-constructed deck, about 50 cards, so I was a little bit off, a game mat, and a quick starter guide. Now, again, they have a whole bunch of other useless information, but it's basically Square Enix that, helps distribute, or at least, helps get these cards out into the rest of the world outside of Japan. Now, I'm curious, and I'm very surprised that this card game isn't done with Wizards of the Coast, because I'm always hearing Wizards of the Coast come out as, like, the premier company that does all these different things for these various trading card games. Now, I'm trying to open up the actual card set here. it's a little tough because they kind of like, you know, really tighten it, lock it up. So I don't blame them, but you know, it'd be a little bit difficult to open. But that's the only way that you're going to keep the quality of your cards. So I kind of open this up, get rid of this plastic here. We're going to go through some of the cards. I'm going to tell you which ones look the coolest to me. Probably go through some of the more interesting ones as far as how they look and everything. But here we go. Opened up the pack. There's Zidane right front and center. We got a couple Zidans. We got about 3 Zidans there, which is pretty damn freaking awesome. There we go, 3 Zidans for you. Look at the back, Final Fantasy trading card game. Now, to me, from what I could tell, if we could just look at one of these Zidans right here, this looks smaller than the traditional trading card that I would normally find, like here in the United States. Like, to me, like if I had a Magic the Gathering card here just to compare, I'm pretty sure the Magic the Gathering card would either be longer or bigger in some form or fashion. But that's the back of it. That's the front of it. Again, with Zidane. He's got 7,000 power. He's got 7,000 hit points. He's ready. That's that PlayStation 1 vintage power behind him. But in here, he's got his, what is it? He's got his actual, I guess his type, or at least his creature type. You know, again, I'm using Magic the Gathering terms, but they call him a gnome. If you control a Category 9 forward, the cost for playing Zidane on the field is reduced by 1. When Zidane enters the field, select one of the following actions. Draw 1 card. Your opponent discards 1 card from his or her hand. Activate all Category 9 characters you control. Okay, so basically, again, some of the abilities and stuff that we don't really understand just yet, but will kind of make sense for people that already play the game. But we're going to put those there. We got my boy Vivi. Oh, yeah. Vivi's got to get his own card. Look at that Final Fantasy IX vintageness. Look at him in his Black Mage glory. Of course, Vivi. You can't have Vivi. You can't have a Final Fantasy IX card set without Vivi. I feel like that's like disrespectful to do something like that. Again, he's got his abilities on there. Very nice looking card. Again, I think these are cutscenes, or at least screenshots pulled from the cutscenes themselves from the game. Was it Final Fantasy IX on PS1? We got Amarant, which is pretty dope. Look at Amarant right there. Look at him. Look at him. Look how awesome he looks right there. Again, I have to excuse the focus, but the artwork and the screenshots look pretty damn dope for the characters on here. So we got Black Waltz. Got a little bit more kind of like, I guess, original artwork, or at least artwork outside of Final Fantasy IX. Or at least, you know, relate to Final Fantasy as a whole, because I don't remember Black Waltz specifically from the game. I could be wrong. Could be sacrilegious right there, but again, look at this artwork. Looks pretty cool. Those cool designs. We got a Ranger, and an Evoker, and a Samurai. So now we start getting into more of like the traditional classes of Final Fantasy that you find in some of the older games. So this is pretty cool. As you guys can see here, the Ranger. It's got pretty much a standard unit. Puts it right there in front of you. The Evoker, same thing, standard unit. And then the Samurai, which looks pretty cool. This looks like it was pulled straight out of Final Fantasy Tactics as far as the artwork is concerned. I'm pretty sure that'd be the case. And then we start getting into summons. So we got Ifrit, which is pretty awesome. Check that out, Ifrit. This looks like the artwork from like Final Fantasy X. If I'm looking, actually no, it actually has it right on here. So it's Final Fantasy VIII. So if we go back to some of the other cards, maybe they'll tell us the different units. Okay, yeah, they do. So every card tells you exactly which game it's from. So the Black Waltz, like I was saying earlier, is actually from Final Fantasy IX. The Ranger is pulled from Final Fantasy III. Same thing with the Evoker, is pulled from Final Fantasy III. And I was right, Samurai is pulled from Final Fantasy Tactics. That's actually pretty awesome. So this sprite, or this artwork for Ifrit, it's pulled from Final Fantasy VIII, which is awesome. Now the Sage is pulled from Final Fantasy III, as we can see right here. Again, the focus is a little bit off. I understand that. It's going to be a little bit of a pain in the butt, I know. Maybe I could actually try to adjust it a little bit. But, so yeah, as good as we could go. Then we got a little bit of Final Fantasy XIV action going in here. We got a Warrior from Final Fantasy XIV. That's actually pretty cool. I have to say, like, again, the cards, they're only going to look so good. They don't have, like, the crazy divine artwork as what you would see in, like, in like a Magic the Gathering card, as far as like, you know, being painting-like quality. But these do look cool for what they are. We got a Ninja from Final Fantasy III. We got a Summoner from Final Fantasy III. That's pretty good. And then we got Garnet from Final Fantasy IX. There you go. Got to get that Garnet representation. Look at those 3 Garnets right there. Look how phenomenal they look. They look amazing. Then we got Quina from Final Fantasy IX. Look at Quina with the dopey look on their face. Look at this blue mage. Look at that dopey face. Doesn't that make you want to smile? Doesn't it make you laugh? Doesn't it give you a smile to your face? Then we got Steiner, and of course they had to get the kind of creepy, like suspect-looking Steiner face. Look at Steiner right there. Look at he knows what's up. He knows he looks good. He knows that this card game looks pretty damn good. That's pretty funny. Okay, and again, it's got all his abilities, got its EX burst and different stuff and stats that we don't really understand yet, but it looks pretty cool. It'll make sense to people who actually play the card game. We're kind of looking at it just aesthetically right now, just for the, you know, the unboxing purposes. But we got, was it Artemosian? Or again, I'm pronouncing it wrong, but the Moogles. Gotta have that Moogle representation. If you don't have Moogles represented in your trading card game related to Final Fantasy, you're doing it wrong, B. And then we got a cool looking Moogle. Moogle's just looking at you like, son, how come I have this garbage looking card and not one that's like a premium foil that like shoots out electricity or something? But I'm only kidding, it's all good. And then we got both Aiko and Mog. So Aiko from Final Fantasy IX and Mog from Final Fantasy IX. Look at that. Look at those, look at that goodness right there. Mog looking phenomenal, of course. Aiko looking phenomenal, but not as good as Mog. We got another Evoker from Final Fantasy III, pretty cool. We got a Fairy from Final Fantasy Tactics. Now, this is interesting because as I've gone through most of this stuff, and then we got the generic Moogle. And then we got a Knight from Final Fantasy XIV. That's pretty cool. So, like I was about to say, as we go through most of the cards, the starter decks are pretty much the card sets are pulled from all regions of Final Fantasy as far as the series. There is a dominance of Final Fantasy IX, obviously, in this starter pack, which is cool because it is Final Fantasy IX themes, and that's pretty cool. But I have to say, I'm pretty digging it. I'm pretty interested. I'm pretty pleased with what I'm seeing thus far. A lot of cool stuff. And again, going back to that Steiner face. Look at that Steiner face. I should make this as like the actual thumbnail. Just that look. Just like, yeah, you know it's good. You know it's phenomenal. So here you go. Let me actually put this to the side. Okay, we're actually going to put this back in the actual plastic here. But that's the Final Fantasy IX starter set for the card game, for the Final Fantasy trading card game. Now, we're not going to look at it for every single pack here, but let's look quickly, just again, the glance at this quick, you know, starter guide here, which probably has a lot of rules, a lot of other beautiful artwork and stuff that we could actually take a look at. This video is probably going to run a little bit long because there's a lot to get through, so bear with me, but it is cool. If you're a Final Fantasy fan, this is like your jam. So this looks pretty dope, not gonna lie, and it's got a lot of different artwork for different cards, different characters. I can see Warrior of Light, I can see Cloud, I can see Ramza, which is cool. Was it Yuna, a whole bunch of others, and this kind of, you know, tells you how to play the game overall. Both sides, again, it's a two-sided, it gives you an idea of, like, again, what type of rules, you know, the different zones, what all that stuff means. Different types of elements. I got 8 elements on here related to the cards. That's pretty cool. And then let's take a look at the actual playmat. Now, we're only going to look at it for this starter set. We won't look at it for the other two because we're only just going to focus on the cards. But this is the field. There we go. So it's pretty basic field, very similar to what you find in many other trading card games, like Yu-Gi-Oh, like Pokemon, like Magic the Gathering, the Versus system, etc. It even gives you Final Fantasy IX deck. Oh, it gives you a breakdown of the entire deck, which is pretty cool. And it even tells you about the Type 0 deck, too, which is what we're going to look at in just a bit. But there goes that Steiner look. There goes that Steiner look in his face, that suspect look alongside Vivi. But there you go. That's the playmat. I'm going to put that to the side there. And now let's look at the next starter deck. We're going to put the Final Fantasy IX one over to the side. And then now let's look at the Final Fantasy Type 0 starter deck. And then, again, I'm going to start speeding things up a little bit more now so we can kind of get to the rest of the cards so we don't go on for too long. Again, we got your game mat and stuff. We can see the quick guide, which is pretty cool. Let me open this up here. Get rid of this tape. Put it to the side. There we go. Open this bad boy up. Got the starter deck, got the mat. I'm going to put this inside here just for the now. Put it inside there. And we got our card set, which right on the front we got Ace from Final Fantasy Type 0. Ace right there, probably one of the head dudes in Final Fantasy Type 0, or at least part of Class 0. It's pretty awesome. Let me try to open this up now. Again, kind of like the other one. Again, they're very tightly packed. You don't want to kind of be forceful with them and like mess up the cards. That would be really bad, you know, in order to do something like that, because then you ruin your cards. Which is another thing. A lot of people put their cards in sleeves, you know, to kind of protect them, make sure that they not only maintain their value, but they also just look nice in general. And this plastic is being a pain in the butt. Being a real pain in the butt. You can hear me trying to rip the plastic off. Pretty crazy. But yeah, that's something that a lot of people do with their actual card sets that they collect. Or at least their different trading cards that they actually collect or they play with and stuff. Like, you'll find a lot of Magic Gathering guys actually use like premium, like, you know, sleeves for their cards in order to make sure that they, you know, they maintain their look and they maintain their value, because I spend a lot of money on these things sometimes. So here we go. Finally got it opened, just little by little, because they're so tightly packed. Got to give them word up props for making sure that these cards maintain their good looks. Here we go. Finally. Let's see how this goes here. Boom. Open that up. There we go. Set to the side. So let's take a look at this starter deck. Now again, we're going to go a little bit quicker now, but we get the ace right here. Those 3 aces, son. Check it out. I got 3 of a kind. 3 aces. I win. And then we got Moogle. We got the Mog. The Moogle. The Class 0 Moogle, by the way, which is pretty awesome. These look very different. Again, this is a newer set, a newer starter deck, so you're probably going to notice different kind of, you know, aesthetic or visual differences between what we saw before and the other previous starter deck for what we got now. But the Moogle. This Moogle got an upgrade. It's Professor Moogle to you. So we got Rem. If you guys played Final Fantasy Type 0, you guys will know who Rem is. One of the characters that, again, no spoilers, very important. We also got 8. Now, the funny thing is, when I played Type 0, I always thought it was funny how some of the characters had names as numbers, which I thought was kind of goofy. So you got 8 and 7, you got 7 and 8. Why 8 is before 7, I have no idea. But you got 2 cards, or at least, you know, 4 here, or 2 and 2, I should say. And check this out, Diablos. Summon Diablos. Okay, and now this is a Type 0 version of Diablos, which looks pretty cool. Looks pretty dope. We got Deuce in here. Again, a lot of these cards are themed towards Final Fantasy Type 0 because that's the theme for the starter deck. So you're going to see a lot of characters or things related to Final Fantasy Type 0. We got another Evoker, which is related to Final Fantasy 3. And then finally, we got our first Final Fantasy VII related card. We got the Chocobo. Check out that Chocobo. And we got another Chocobo, which is also Final Fantasy VII related. Yeah, it's a different type of Chocobo. We got 2 different versions of the Chocobo. We got Epic Chocobo, and we got Standard Chocobo. So we got Original and Extra Crispy. Which one do you prefer? So here we go. That's pretty cool. These guys can see it there. It's pretty awesome. I like it where it's got Cloud riding on it. That's pretty dope. And then this one's just like, you know, their standard I look good Chocobo. So we also got other classes. We got a Ninja, Standard Unit. And then we got Queen from Final Fantasy Type 0. Queen looks pretty cool. And then we also got Auricia. Auricia. I know Auricia is like already hard enough to pronounce, but look at Queen. Queen looks pretty cool. Again, I used to play with Queen a lot in the game itself, you know, leveling her up. And then we got Auricia, who, again, very key to the plot. Very important there. Some people call it the waifu of Type 0, but I don't know. I'll leave that to you guys. And then we got 9. 9 is pretty awesome. Look how cool this card looks. I dig it. I dig it. He's looking there. He's looking fresh. He's like, yes, I got a phenomenal card. And we got Sice, who uses a scythe, funny enough. Okay, she looks pretty cool. And then Black Mage. This is a Final Fantasy Tactics version of Black Mage. We also got a Summoner for Final Fantasy Tactics. That's pretty interesting. And then we got Ramu, or Rama, from Final Fantasy Tactics. This is a Tactics version. This is interesting because I've never seen this kind of like design of Final Fantasy Tactics for Ramu. I'm always so used to seeing like the classic design or any of like the 3D modeled renders of Ramu, which I think is pretty cool. Then we got a Dragoon from Final Fantasy Tactics. Again, there's a lot of tactics stuff here. We got a Cyclops, a monster. First monster. I'm surprised that we haven't seen a lot of monsters here from the Final Fantasy universe. Maybe there'll be other cards in the booster packs that are like that. Ninja. Got a Ninja. And then finally a Dragoon again from Final Fantasy XIV. So it's a little bit different than what we got beforehand. So that's really, really cool. Again, I like this Dragoon. It's very reminiscent of Kain from Final Fantasy IV, but as far as like the pose and stuff. But this is pretty dope. I dig it. I think it's really cool. So that's the Final Fantasy Type 0 starter pack for the Final Fantasy trading card game. So we're going to keep things moving here. Kind of move things along. Get things going here. We're going to go to the next starter pack, which is going to be the big one for you guys. Final Fantasy VII. Or at least Final Fantasy VII Remake, from what I could tell on the actual first card that's there. So let me put this here. Let's move on to over here and actually go to the next one. So I'm going to put that to the side. It's time for Final Fantasy VII Remake. Get your Buster Swords ready. Get your soldier uniforms ready. It's time. So here we go. It just says Final Fantasy and it says Final Fantasy VII on there, but I mean, what do you think, B? I mean, look at that. Look at Cloud. He's ready. He's ready to kick some ass. That's what he's up to. So let me put this to the side, get rid of this tape, open this thing up. There we go. Again, got your mat, got your quick rule set, which I'm curious to see what the quick rule set is actually also featured. Because remember, the Type 0, the Final Fantasy IX one featured Final Fantasy IX and the Type 0 starter decks. So what does this one feature? Is there another one that's different? Let's actually see here. We got, let's see, okay, the backside. It actually doesn't feature any others. Like, okay, so it just has that. So let me check the other one, because I think it was on the actual field guide. Just to be sure, just to see what it's like. Again, I know I said I wasn't going to look at this, but now I'm really curious. Let's see, which one does it have here? Ah, so okay, with Final Fantasy VII deck, and then they have a Final Fantasy X themed deck. As you can see here, if you guys can make it out, we got Titus there, and we also got one of the, what is it, brother from the Albed. So that's pretty dope. So you got a Final Fantasy X themed deck, themed starter deck. So that's pretty cool. But anyway, let's get to the cards, shall we? Let's actually open this up here, and actually get to the cards. Now again, struggling with this plastic. It's going to be a lot easier when we finally get to the booster packs now, which we got a lot of booster packs to get through, as you can see here. Again, Square Enix sent me a ton of them over, over the mail alongside this stuff, just for me to unbox for you guys and check out, get my impressions overall. So far, from what I've seen, I like the artwork. I think the cards are a little bit small, but that's just the way that they're designed, I guess. A little bit different. Again, this is the English version of the Final Fantasy trading card game. I almost got this one open to really get in there and like find like the little flap that actually breaks off, so you could open up the plastic. There we go. Again, word up to Square Enix for protecting their cards. Damn, this is really tough. It's really tough. Like, probably thinking to yourselves, like, yo, just open the pack already. Just cut it with a knife. The only reason why I don't want to cut it with a knife here, like I've been doing so far the past like two starter decks, is because I don't want to screw up the cards inside, like accidentally, like, you know, breaking the card or like scratching the card inside. Like, that'll be really, really bad. But anyway, let's get this open. There we go. Lift that up. Get this out of the way. Gonna kind of take out all the plastic as much as we can without screwing up the cards. Can't be screwing up Cloud's face here. He's looking fresh. Can't be screwing up Cloud's fresh face like that. Have a whole bunch of Final Fantasy VII fans chasing after me. That'd be really bad. But here we go. Boom. Open this bad boy up. There we go. So here's the Final Fantasy VII starter deck for the Final Fantasy trading card game. There's our boy Cloud from Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now, it's only marked as Final Fantasy VII. It's not marked Final Fantasy VII R, which I'm guessing that they're just blending everything together as Final Fantasy VII rather than just 7 Original and 7 Remake. That kind of makes sense to me, but it still looks dope. I mean, it's a really cool looking card. It's not foil or anything, but it is pretty cool looking. And so, I'm guessing this is like a super uber version of Cloud. He's like, this is Cloud when he's ready to kick somebody's ass. Like, he's ready to go in on somebody. So let's go to the next one. We got Zangan, which goes back to the original style from Final Fantasy VII. This is pretty cool. Zangan. We got Zangan in the house. And then Tifa. Look, an original look at Tifa. Even though, again, this is like a screenshot from like the game's cutscenes. That's pretty cool. Tifa version. Even though we don't see the front of her, we only see the back of her head. So we got 3 of them, as you guys can see there. We got Bahamut Fury. Bahamut Fury is pretty freaking dope. One of the summons for Final Fantasy VII. This is very, very cool. And then, of course, we got my boy, Red 13. Red 13 in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. Look how awesome that looks. Looks freaking amazing. Even though, again, another screenshot from the game itself. Now, here's a Final Fantasy Tactics version of Ifrit. This is a different version of Ifrit than what we saw before. What we saw before was the Final Fantasy VIII version, the Final Fantasy VIII sprite. This is the Tactics sprite. Very, very different from before. And then we got Black Mage from Final Fantasy III. We got an Evoker again. We're getting a lot of Evokers lately. Another Samurai there. A Magnus, or Magus. That's how you pronounce it, Magus. A Squire from Final Fantasy Tactics. Again, another unit from that Tactics game. And then, of course, everybody's beloved Vincent Valentine. Look at Vincent there, the gunslinger. They got it all right with him. They got his original artwork. They got his pose, looking phenomenal. He's like, he just looks like he's ready to just mess up the whole game. Like, mess up the whole board. Like, as soon as you play him, you should automatically win because of his coolness factor. And now we got another Final Fantasy VII Remake version of Wedge. Now, this is straight from the trailer, I know, because I remember I was there at E3 when they showed the actual trailer for Final Fantasy VII Remake. And Jesse, there you go, another screenshot of Jesse from Final Fantasy VII Remake's trailer. And then Barrett, a Final Fantasy VII version of Barrett from that same trailer. That's very cool. And we got Biggs. So there's a lot of Final Fantasy VII Remake love in here. Look at that. We got Barrett, we got Biggs, we got Jesse, we got a whole bunch of people. That is awesome. Very, 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 very freaking cool. And now we got Dark Knight from Final Fantasy Tactics. We got a black belt. Of course, you got to get that martial arts kung fu action. A black belt, son. And then a golem from Final Fantasy Tactics. And then it rounds off with a monk from Final Fantasy Tactics. I'm surprised. No other Cloud-like card or no Sephiroth card or anything of the sort. So the big one here is the Final Fantasy VII Remake cards that we got, which is Cloud. We got, and I scroll a little bit further. So then we got Cloud and all the other characters that we saw from that same trailer. We got Wedge. We got Jesse. We got Barrett with his glasses looking like Shaft. And Biggs. So all the characters that you saw in that Final Fantasy VII Remake trailer that was announced during, back at E3, that's exactly what you're getting in this starter pack as far as like the designs and stuff. Now, if they're really good in the game, I would assume so, because some of their stats look pretty big. Makes sense to me, but that's pretty awesome. Very, very freaking awesome. So those are the 3 starter packs right now for the Final Fantasy VII, or Final Fantasy VII starter pack for the Final Fantasy trading card game. That's a lot of words there. A big tongue twist for everybody. But here we go. I'm going to put this back in here, kind of wrap it up with the Final Fantasy VII starter deck. But there you go. So at this point, we're going to get into the, what is it? We're going to get into the starter booster packs, or at least the booster packs right now. So those are the starter decks that we just had. We went through all 3 of them. We went through Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy IX, and Final Fantasy Type 0. So I know this is going a little bit long, so just bear with me here, okay? I'm probably going to break, you know what, I think I'm actually going to break this up. So that way, actually, I could kind of do separate videos for you guys to keep things kind of like cool. I know I said I was probably going to do these booster packs, but again, I know I'm going long right now, and there's a lot of cards to get through. But make sure you guys leave a like on this video. Comment down below in the comment section. Let me know what's up. Make sure you subscribe to the Koalition's YouTube channel for all our videos related to gaming and stuff like this, unboxings, whole bunch of other cool stuff. Again, if you haven't checked out any of my previous unboxing videos, I unboxed the Tekken 7 Collector's Edition. I unboxed a bunch of different gaming headsets, including the Astro A50s, the Astro A10s. I did some Turtle Beach stuff, as well as Lucid Sound, and even the games case. So I highly recommend that you guys check that out. It'll probably be linked in the description box below, as well as also here in the end cards. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you guys again real soon. Peace out, and stay epic, everybody.